In the last video, we discussed how the spiritual hunger of modern people often stems from the lack of true bread of life. Today, let us delve into an ancient and miraculous story. In the wilderness, God sent bread from heaven, saving an entire nation. This bread foreshadowed Jesus, who would later come as the bread of life. Can you imagine it? For 40 years, without farms, supermarkets, or bakeries, an entire nation never lacked food. This is not a legend, but a real story. Through his miraculous provision, God met the needs of the Israelites in the wilderness. The story takes place over 1400 years before Christ. The Israelites had just been delivered from slavery in Egypt and were beginning their wandering in the wilderness. While they initially rejoiced in their newfound freedom, they soon realized the wilderness was a desolate place. There was no water, no food. When hunger struck, human weakness began to show. The people started complaining and questioning Moses and Aaron.
Did we leave Egypt only to die here? We were better off as slaves in Egypt. At least there we had meat to eat.
God heard their cries and responded in his own way. The next morning, when the Israelites awoke, they found the ground covered with a mysterious white frost-like substance. It tasted like wafers made with honey, something they had never seen before. Amazed, they asked,
"What is it?"
Moses answered,
"It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat."
From that day onward, except on the Sabbath, God provided this manna every morning to sustain the Israelites. What's even more remarkable is that on the day before the Sabbath, God sent double the amount of manna, ensuring they had enough for 2 days. Through this, God taught them to honor the Sabbath and trust in his provision. For the next 40 years, no matter where the Israelites journeyed, this heavenly bread never ceased, serving as their daily sustenance. But God's purpose in giving manna was not just to fill their stomachs. It was to teach them a vital spiritual truth. As Moses reminded the people in the wilderness, he humbled you, causing you to hunger and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. This truth was not only a lesson for the Israelites, but also a spiritual revelation for all people.